And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Woo! Welcome to Crossing the Streams, episode 12, the quintessential episode 12. They said we wouldn't make it, but we're here, and we've got two amazing guests. We're going to introduce them in a minute, but first, you know how it goes. Our guest sings the theme song. Wize, it's all you, buddy. Here we go.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me. They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff and Ron and Sal and Bob and this Howard. They call it Crossing Streams. And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we crossed the streams.
We crossed the streams.
We crossed the streams. That's the way we do it here. We cross the streams.
All right, Wize, I'm excited to tell you that's the most live viewers we've ever had, and you sang for it. So thank you very much. We've got an amazing show for you today, folks. Amazing show, and we've got two amazing guests. We got first we have our friend who just sang so brilliantly, Wize from Reels Wize Radio. Tell everyone about yourself. Tell them where they can find you, all your amazing podcasts and such.
Well, I'm on, Stuck in My Mind is my podcast. I'm on all major platforms. I actually was just put on Pandora finally after like 10 months of trying. So I can honestly say I'm now on all major platforms. And then we just launched our YouTube channel, Real Wize TV. So you can check us out there as well.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. And you know him every week. He shows up. He's commenting. Part of the Scene Snobs channel that we're a part of. Mick Manhattan.
There he is. Nicely done, brother.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, I'm Mick. I'm from the Scene Snobs. So go check out thescenesnobs.com. Great shows like Crossing the Streams every Wednesday at 9:30. And we have a plethora of other great shows. So just go check it out.
All right. So you guys know how it works. Everyone is tuning in from across the world. We've got the world tuning in, folks. Over 750 countries, according to my stats, and over 72 states. So this is a record, and you all are here for it. So we're excited for that. Last week, we had one of the greatest episodes ever, TV shows that were canceled too soon. Oh, yeah. They were talking about it on the Twitters and the Instagrams. We talked about Grindr and Freaks and Geeks and Duck Factory and Carnival and Dirty Sexy Money, Almost Human, Timeless, Santa Clarita Diet, Superstore, Dead Like Me, Hannibal. It was huge. Flash forward and Crashing. That Crashing, not a different Crashing. And so it was an amazing episode 11. So check it out. That's our special canceled too soon episode. So check that out. And we've got a really great one for you today. Today we're going to cover Suits, Last Breath, Quantum Leap, and to prove he's cool, Ron's going to talk to us about a YouTube show called The Most Popular Girls in School. That's crazy. We don't know what it is either because we're all adults and we don't watch YouTube. But no, I'm kidding. This actually is live on YouTube right now. So definitely tune into the YouTube channel for the Jeff Dwoskin Show. And you can watch us live also on Facebook, facebook.com/JeffIsFunny. All that great stuff. We're missing Sal today. We're missing Howard. They're in our hearts. We finally figured out the clicking sound. The clicking sound all the weeks, and it turns out it was Bob all along.
That's the surprise graphic.
Oh man, it was worth the wait. It was worth it.
But that's funny. That's very good. Thank you. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Oh, so I just ended up having to buy my daughter her first car. She was excited about it for her birthday. It's got me thinking my first car. That's not an exact picture of it, but it's close. It's pretty much all my parents could afford. So the Toyota Celica 1978 hatchback. I was driving with my mom. It literally died while we were driving it on the road. We pulled into a thing, called, had to go meet my dad, get a new car. Crazy. Bob, what was your first car? A limo?
No, it was a I got my first car in 1979, and it was a 1972 Camaro that my older sister and my brother had driven and beaten the shit out of. And back in the 70s, you didn't get 100,000, 150,000 miles out of a car. The word on the street was it was 35,000. You dumped that thing. So this was already at 70,000 miles. The radiator leaked constantly. I had to carry jugs of water with me literally everywhere I went. So when I stopped, I would put the water in the radiator because it leaked everywhere. And it would just like veer off to the right. It would just go where it wasn't supposed to go at really shitty times. It was like the Ted Cruz of cars is what it was. And so that was my vehicle.
I'm with you. I saw what you did there.
Right. And it only went that way because his daughter said it should. Mick, sorry, awkward pause. Mick, Mick, do you have a car, or do you just? I've never seen you leave that room, so I'm not even sure you have.
I just stay here. No, my first car, I actually pulled up a picture of it. It was a 1997 Nissan Altima.
Oh, yes.
It was
nice.
That thing was amazing. I don't know. The gas tank would read full even if I drove it around for like 6 months. It was one of my favorites. So, and then died a horrible, horrible death.
Oh, that sounds like its own story.
What about you, Wize?
It was 1995 Toyota Corolla.
Nice. We each had a Toyota. I knew
Those are the affordable ones.
What about you, Ron?
Yeah, I had a 1979 Delta 88 4-barrel. We used to call it the green. We used to call it the Green Bomb. And you could see the road through the floorboard in it, and it was rusted out to oblivion. And you could pile in 15 people in this car. And the thing I loved most about it is when you drive a rusted out 1979 Delta 88. When you drive the thing on the road, no one wants to be on the road near you. It's like everything kind of clears out of the way. You got your own lane, you got your own space. You can find your own path with that car. It was a fantastic car for college. I enjoyed that. And then it died. Similar to Bob's story, it just freaking died. Or actually, it was Mick's story. It was my story.
I think they all died.
They just
First
died.
cars I think are supposed to die. Mick, Jerry thinks you should be pulling all the ladies. Casey says hi. Jason Taylor says, Wize, this show is great. One of the nicest in podcasting. Hang on, I'm looking to see if anyone said anything about Mick. No.
No.
Donna Newman says hello. Casey
CRP, brother. Welcome.
Oh, there we go. We got
one of my Alexas just went.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, so that's
wait.
good.
I finally got a compliment in the comments, and you just shoving away.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's so dead sexy. I don't think was Fred calling you dead sexy a compliment. I wasn't sure.
I'll take it. That's all I'm getting for the night.
Hi, Bobby. Okay, maybe it's a different show.
I know Leslie.
Bob Phillips. I'm like, who's Bobby?
Well, that's
Leslie.
Donna's
nice to see you, sweetie.
Donna's talking about her 82 Datsun pickup. I didn't even know Datsun's made a pickup. That's got to be an incredible vehicle.
That is an incredible vehicle. The all right, so why don't we get into some of these shows? Because I'm really dying to hear all about the most popular girls in school. I'm dying to hear about
All
this.
right. So,
Ron, take it away.
in all fairness, has anybody seen this show? Like, seriously,
No, I never even heard of it.
Has anybody even heard of it?
No.
All right.
No, not at all. Not.
So I'm going way off the board with this one. This was recommended to me by my 19-year-old daughter about a year ago, who off the record warned me that I cannot hold her responsible for any of the content that I'm about to view by watching this show. But she says she promised me that it would change me as a person. And lo, I will tell you, it has absolutely changed me as a person. So let me set this up. The show was created in 2012. It ran for 5 seasons, all designed entirely for YouTube. And the entire show is stop action Barbie dolls. So it's the whole
serial
show.
killer's wet dream.
The whole show is Barbie dolls with custom costumes. Like they made costumes for these people, and they're all moving around stop action around this handmade, completely cheesy set. And it was created by 2 dudes, Mark Cope and Carlo Moss, 2 absolute nobodies, who thought it would be friggin' hilarious to voice over Barbie and Ken dolls in absolutely ridiculous situations and super offensive storylines. like the most offensive things you could possibly think of are in this show. And check this out: the episodes, they're only 5 minutes long. Each show is only 5 minutes long. It's one scene, one moment in time, and they are completely unapologetic on how the characters like speak to each other. It's kind of like think like South Park meets like Mean Girls. It's like kind of like that vibe.
Yeah.
It's like that irreverent vibe where these girls are just so fucking mean to each other, and that's what these Barbie dolls are. So what's even more funny is that half the girl dolls are voiced over by men, and that turns what's already completely ridiculous into something, I'm telling you, it's impossible to get through without laughing at it. And you're going to watch it, and I promise you, the way it's going to work is the first 30 seconds of you watching this, you're going to turn back around and be like, "What the fuck is this? I have better things to do than be watching this nonsense." But
we don't have better things to do.
How many episodes are there?
It's 5 seasons. I want to say there's maybe 8 to 10 episodes per season. So I mean, you can binge the whole thing in a couple hours. It's that easy. Story's about a group of. Go ahead, and then I'll finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, what's funny to me is just hearing when you're talking about this, that there's 8 shows per season and there's 5 seasons. That means 40 shows. These guys were sitting around doing this. I mean, that to me is funnier than anything good would come out of this show.
Think of all the times you and I were playing with dolls, Bob, and if we had made a TV show out of it.
It's so
yeah.
It's offensive in the sense that they would think it would command our attention, and then even more offensive when it does. And you're like, this is actually smart. It's actually really smart. The story's about a group of cheerleaders in high school in Overland Park, Kansas, and they're all led by this main cheerleader, Mackenzie Zales. She's like this ruthless bitch who leads like these Valley girls, even though they're from Kansas. The best character is like this other doll named Brittany, who just screams at everyone the whole show. And even though the doll is like the doll's smiling the whole time because it's a doll, right? It's just a voiceover, which makes it still even funnier. The beauty of this show is that the producers realize that like even the most skeptical, serious of viewers, they can pay attention to anything for 5 minutes. Like there's something about the 5 minute mark that you can stick around for something that makes absolutely no sense and literally is sucking the brain cells from your head. And you can do that for 5 minutes. And that's why the show is so freaking successful. Each show is more ridiculous than the next. And they're right. And check this out, you guys, as from a data standpoint, season 1's first episode was viewed more than 8 million times when it came out.
Wow.
The channel today has more than 900,000 subscribers with more than 120 million views. That's bigger than like major shows.
It's bigger than like this show.
Right? Yeah.
Not
So,
many are
and
bigger than this show, but that's impressive.
This show is pretty big.
it's the data. I mean, laugh all you want, but the data on this show is ridiculous, and they're making a lot of money. Jerry, if I could clear my browser history right now, it would probably save a lot of the fights I've had with my wife. But I highly recommend it. Listen, you don't have to watch all 5 seasons, but I highly recommend you just see what the far reaches of creativity, humor, and just what's possible in streaming, just to check it out. And I think it'll give you real perspective on where I think the modern young humor lies. Great show, and I highly recommend it.
I have an announcement. I don't mean to like just cut you off, but Casey is convinced.
CRP, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, man. Go Wolves.
Go Wolves. This show reminds me, the way you were setting it up, where your daughter was like, you can watch this, but don't blame me. Yeah. I feel like that's how Big Mouth is, which I'll mention only because I'll never mention on this show. It's a hilarious cartoon, Big Mouth, with Nick Kroll, John Mulaney, and Fred Armisen, Maya Rudolph, Jordan Peele. I mean, it's an insane voice cast. But when you watch it, you're like, why did an adult tell me to watch a show about people and like 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds that all they do is talk about jerking off and masturbating? Right. I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm like, am I watching child porn right now? I mean, on Netflix? And it's like it makes you feel so dirty. Like, it was one of those things where I watched with headphones on because nobody can walk in the room. You know what I mean? It's like, and so I'm watching. I'm laughing. I eventually stopped laughing. I mean, it was hilarious. Don't get me wrong. It was really funny.
So I can't go back to my daughter and laugh about something like these are so offensive. Like one of the episodes, Brittany is talking about how she only gives up her butt to her boyfriend. She won't give up her growler. And she storms off the set, and the 2 people that are right next to her are looking at her like, "The fuck is a growler?" like, what does that even mean?
Ron, I need to know: are these fictional other dolls now apologizing to Brittany for?
The dolls are fictional. Dolls don't really talk. I think Mick and Wize are afraid to jump in. Guys, you can jump in anytime.
Well, listen. I'm not. I'm a almost 40-year-old white man. I'm not talking about Barbie dolls.
There you go.
We're going to be the next Netflix special.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's move on because I want to hear from Wize, and we're gonna cover next one. This one's a classic. This is Quantum Leap, which I hear they might actually be renamed.
Yeah, they might come. Yeah, they reboot it.
So give a little.
Can I give a tidbit real quick? Connecting last week's show to this show.
Yes.
The head editor on Quantum Leap was also the head editor on Duck Factory. He was my editing teacher in college.
Is that right? Fantastic.
Wow.
That's a nugget. Thanks, man.
Great choice.
Jerry's worried. We're all on the no-fly list now. We don't know if Quantum Leap is a great show yet. Tim, he hasn't told us about it. All right, go ahead.
Okay. So it originally ran for 5 seasons on the NBC. It starred Scott Bakula as Sam Beckett, and he was a physicist, and he actually got stuck in some kind of time travel loop or whatever. That it was him. He could land anywhere in his lifetime and from any time when he was born, and he would land in specific bodies. Sometimes he would play the role of a woman, sometimes a man. Sometimes it was amazing. One of my favorite ones was actually it involved Stephen King, and I guess it involved I'm trying to remember the episode, but it involved the devil as well. It was a crazy episode for me growing up, and it was just the way they wrote the show was great. Like some of the characters he played, you really got into it.
Nice.
That's
Especially when you look at it, when you see, even though we see him as Scott Bakula, but he sees himself as, when he looks in the mirror, he sees himself as that person that he's playing. So it was crazy.
so wait, this was originally on NBC. Where is it now?
It's no longer. It's
So can you get it like on Netflix or Prime or
you can probably get it on IMDb. It's somewhere. Usually, I got it.
You probably have to get that on VHS, but Blockbuster, that's an old show.
Wait, have you never heard of the show, really? Or are we pretending still?
I never saw Quantum Leap.
I remember the show. I haven't heard of it in a long time.
What was the time traveling show where it was a guy and the younger guy, and like they had the device? It was similar to Quantum Leap, and they had to turn it green. They had to go green so they know that they
Sliders.
That was the Sliders.
No, not Sliders. This is older than Sliders. They had this. They were fixing history, and then when it turned green, they knew that history. Nobody.
Peabody and
No, it was live action.
Was this an 80s show?
Was it the most popular girls in school?
All right, you guys stink.
Probably not.
I don't like you guys. Scott Bakula went on to fly the Enterprise.
Yes, he did.
Huh.
Yes, he did.
Bob, there was your comment about you have to find it on a VHS. There was an article today in today's New York Times about how impossible it is to find the original Star Wars. That they quietly took all the originals off the market, and you can only find the Lucas changed versions now.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you reread that article,
so if you can
didn't
find
check
the
my basement.
VHS, then you can really.
That's right.
Guys, I have a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special, the original one, not the
I'm
Lego
coming
one.
over.
Oh, you talking about the Ewok
Half
one?
an hour.
Yeah, no, not that one. All right, let's move on here. Let's Bob, you ready, man? Let's we're gonna talk about Last Breath. I don't know anything about this. I'm excited to hear about it.
Okay. Well, it's been fun up to this moment, guys. This is a very dour Netflix documentary. Came out in 2019, and the background of this is all about saturation divers in the North Sea. I mean, how esoteric can you be? Now, you got picture these gigantic oil rigs that are offshore. Well, they have to be maintained. There's equipment underneath the waves that are, it's getting busted up, and so people have to go down there and fix this stuff, and they have to put piping in on the ocean floor. I mean, just a nightmare job for me, but these guys actually like it. And they're working, it's not the deepest part of the ocean, but you're working at 400 to 600 feet in complete darkness. And they call them saturation divers because before they can get to the ocean floor and get to the thing they need to fix, they have to saturate themselves with this sort of hybrid gas called HELOX, which is helium and oxygen. And they have to do this in a vehicle that is sort of the midway point between the waves and where they have to go. So they get in this thing and they have to spend like over a week getting acclimated to this. Am I popping again?
No, it's just
no, you're great.
Not enough money in the world.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can't believe, but they get paid pretty good money. I think they get paid something like $2,000 a day when they're on a dive, and maybe like $1,300 a day when they're going out to it. So it's not bad money. But what happens is the central storyline in this is they get you acquainted with all these folks, and they tell you the ins and outs of this, which is fascinating. Well, what happens is one of these guys, during a storm. He's down there doing his thing, and his oxygen line and his communication line is severed because the storm blows the ship that's on the surface like a mile and a half away, and it can't get back to him. He has 5 minutes of oxygen left, or he's going to die. So there's a lot. I mean, there's this is where, you know, it all gets very treacherous and very poignant. But there is I'm not going to tell you how it ends up because you need to watch this. I mean, your heart is pounding throughout this thing. I mean, it's really it's hard to watch it sometimes, but it's fascinating to learn about the science of it and all that. But there is a guy, and I need to point this guy out. There's talks about 3 guys. The guy's named Chris Lemons. He's the guy that's lost literally on the bottom of the ocean. And they have no communication with him. So as they're trying to get back to him, they're just going, he's dead. He's dead. There's no way. We're just going to recover a body now, right? They're one of his partners is called, the guy has the worst name in history, Duncan Alcock. But that's a, you know,
but I think that's the greatest name in all this.
Yeah. I mean, but for him, can you imagine growing up with that? Yeah.
He's at the bar. He's like, hey, you're going to love my friend, Duncan Alcock.
Yeah. Duncan Alcock. What are you doing? I'm Duncan Alcock. All right. So yeah, he'd be great in prison. Anyway, so the
you
guy
won't be walking in the morning if you go home with Duncan Alcock.
Boom. The guy you need to watch out for in all this. The documentary is fascinating, but what I found doubly fascinating was a guy named David Yuasa, and this guy is he is the most soulless asshole you'd ever want to meet in a movie or real life, because as all this drama is playing out, they keep going back to him to talk about how it happened, and they have live footage of him, and he is this stone-faced jerk of all time. And you have to just sort of kind of zero in on this guy while this potential tragedy is playing out. This guy does not give a fuck in terms of,
because he's all cock.
Well, yeah, he's all cock,
Yeah.
and he just, I mean, that to me,
Full of confidence, that Alcock.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to tell you how this works out, but you need to watch it. It's it's gripping. And it's also educational. I mean, I'd learned things I didn't know about. I didn't know people could breathe helium for 2 weeks. I mean, the scenes on that sort of mid-level ship where they have to get acclimated to this mixture, they're literally talking like this. It's Alvin and the Chipmunks, because they're breathing helium all the time. So everything they say sounds ridiculous. But then, you know, the gravity of the situation kicks in. So check it out. Last Breath.
Where is this, Bob? Where do we find this?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
So
yes.
So many questions. So this is a documentary. So this is true.
Yes, it's all true.
Okay.
Ooh.
And so I know you kept trying not to spoil it, but it is called Last Breath, not First Breath. So sort of gives an idea what might happen. So with a couple, let's catch up with some of the comments. Is there a hole in the bottom of the sea? He misses pouring off. Sasha, but Sasha also didn't just drop that comment. She also said, if I listen to you guys, I know I wouldn't be watching Leprechaun in the Hood, but that would defeat the purpose of my St. Pat's review. Let me just say, I'm a huge Leprechaun movie fan, and I would totally recommend Leprechaun in the Hood, which I've seen. I've also seen Leprechaun in Space. The great Jennifer Aniston starred in the first.
She was in the original.
Movie.
She was in the original.
Yeah, she was in the original. The first one. She's adorable, and they keep changing the whole mythology of the character, movie to movie. But we should do a whole. When is St. Patty's Day? I'm
It's
Jewish. Is it
17th of March?
Oh, we should do a
St.
whole
Patty's
Leprechaun.
themed?
We should do a whole Leprechaun one. There's like 5.
We
of
should.
them. We should all watch
Is
all
there
the Leprechaun
5?
movies.
Oh, God.
There's 5. Yeah, that's not even enough.
I think there's 5 and a remake.
Yeah, I do want to. Yeah, the remakes. I refuse to watch it. I I do want to go back to one thing because I didn't see it. Sorry, Casey, it got buried. But Wize, great news for your first time. Quantum Leap. You've convinced Casey, so that's big.
Nice.
That's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal.
I feel like Bob convinced him too.
Yeah, and then well, we're gonna get there. And then I just wanted to double back for a second because I didn't see these. And then Jerry said Quantum Leap is on NBC streaming app.
The cock.
Peacock.
The peacock.
An all cock and a peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we need to discuss Mr. Mayor at some point. And then so then here we go. Oh no, 7. Oh, I didn't even mean to click on that, but thank God I did. 7 Leprechaun movies, but I think some of them are remakes. No, 8 actually. She
Lord,
said.
Why would anybody remake that shit?
Well, first of all, it's not.
Get your SAG card.
I know. I'm about to knock you out. First of all, the guy who did it was Wicket from right. He was like one of the Ewoks. He was like, this is a classic guy.
Warwick Davis.
Yeah, Warwick Davis. He's good. He's gonna be on my show next week. I just completely made that up. But the
we could be.
But wait, big news. Bob, Last Breath sounds oddly fascinating and terrifying. Duncan Alcock convinced.
Hey, there you go.
I don't mean to I'm not saying the show is a trend-setting show or anything, but I wouldn't be hugely surprised if this Halloween there's a rise in Duncan Alcock costumes. It wouldn't be something like that would shock me to find out. That's all I'm saying.
No.
That's all I'm saying. So, all right, let's see. Let's go on. Let's talk about another great show. Let me just find it.
It would be a good name for a street to grow up on.
Actually, this is Mick's going to convince us never to watch this. This stars royalty. Meghan, isn't this where Meghan
Markle got her
Markle was on the show? So just be careful because we can't protect you from.
Well, I'm doing something a little different. I don't think anybody should watch this piece of crap show. Suits. I watched.
Wait. If you disagree with Mick, just comment in the comments.
Oh no. Okay, listen. I'm all for Suits in general. If they're named Bob the Suit, that's how it works.
You can see Last Breath on the All Peacock channel.
All Peacock channel. But I'm telling you right now, Suits is. I rewatched it recently, all 9 seasons of that.
Wait, you hated this show so much. You said, "Hey, family, hang on. I'm going to watch 9 seasons. It's an hour-long show, right?
Oh yeah,
and it's a network show, so it's like what 20 episodes, 20 to 30 episodes.
Oh no,
so you watched 5,000 hours of TV again that you hated. Let's talk about why you don't like it.
Well, here's the thing: when it first came on, I don't remember hating it. But this time I really did. Every episode is rich white people in trouble of losing money. There's never a point where it's
I didn't know they made a show about Bob's life.
It's the whole show, the whole premise of the show.
I gotta leave. This is making me nervous.
No. Again, Suits are okay. Suits the show, problem. No, it's just every complaint I have about this show is every episode I'm just like, are you really arguing over this? And then you have the pompous I can't remember again. Patrick, what's his name? I have it out.
Stewart?
Warburton?
Patrick J. Adams. He plays the main character, Mike Ross, on the show. He's the fraud. The one who's not a lawyer but pretending to be. That's
like the Grinder.
Well, no, but in a Grinder, at least it makes sense. He comes on, he gets hired by one of the top law firms in New York City by Harvey Specter, one of the junior partners who only knows his secret. He's a fraud, but he's a high and mighty fraud. If you call him a fraud, he gets really indignant about it. Like, how dare you? I work my butt off at this law firm. And it's like, but you're still a fraud. And we're still allowed to call you a fraud. And to all the way up until season 5 when he finally goes to jail. And then you're like, okay, maybe he won't be as indignant anymore. He's accepted his fate. He's gone to jail. He's going to pay his debt. Nope. They somehow work out a deal to get him out. And he's still indignant about having been a fraud the entire time. This show is stupid on many levels. And I can't take it. Yeah, it's just the whole thing it's literally them arguing about, like, oh my God, I'm going to lose money. But flaunting their money the entire time.
So it's kind of like a longer, more serious Kardashian show.
Even worse. Even worse. And I hate the Kardashians, but even worse than that, because it's like they're not hiding it.
I just admire your fortitude for you're talking about something that happened in season 5 of a show that you absolutely hate. I mean,
and not even the first watching, Bob. This was the second time he watched seasons 1.
I know. That level of commitment is impressive.
You didn't actually.
You got to hate it on all levels. You have to be fair, because nobody can take away from me how much I hate the show. Because they're going to be
come on, man. You didn't actually watch all the seasons, all the shows, right?
Ask me anything. I know exactly what happened in every season with every character and what they try to do and what white person in white rich privilege the TV show happened. This show is just stupid. It's
okay. So let me. There's a lot to unpack here. Yeah, thank you. So one. Of all the shows in the world that you can watch, why would you choose to watch Suits the first time?
I don't know. It was on TV. It's flashy. Give it a shot.
And then why watch it again when there's so much to watch? I know you're a scene snob.
My wife's doing. She's like, I want to binge this, and I was like, well, I was a little excited in the beginning because I didn't remember hating it the first time. I didn't really remember it, but I was like, all right, I'll rewatch it with you.
Huh. It's like watching a Jeff Dunham special over and over.
All right, Sasha says, Mick says he hates it, but a hater is only really a confused fan.
You can't be confused by the show. The only thing they do is complain about losing money.
And then Jason Taylor says, Mick actually loves the show. He has card cutouts of each person.
Nick, why
aren't you watching Quincy MD? That's probably.
I will watch.
Jason just thinks you're a liar. I will say that my daughter watched Suits, and then I can't remember the second half of the story, but she actually learned some legal thing, and then was able to challenge somebody at school for something, where then she was able to actually get them to rethink something and change something. I can't remember what it was, and I wish I had. But so it was a win. So she actually did learn. So I don't think it's can't be as bad as you think. I mean, it has Meghan Markle in it. Talk to me about Meghan Markle in it.
She's terrible in it too. They're all written poorly is the problem. Like, she's not a bad actress. Like, I'm not putting her down as a human being, but as a character on the show, they try to portray her as, okay, so her father has another top law firm in New York, but she broke off to become a lawyer. She's like a paralegal in this firm. And she's been working for so long, like busting her ass, trying to become a lawyer without her father's money and doing all that. But she's written as like a very spoiled, rich kid, the way she acts. Like, how can you do this to me? And it's like, you're a lawyer. Like, lawyer up, deal with it. Like somebody's coming after you, whatever.
So the writing is bad. Is that they're not? It doesn't fit her character. Huh? Comes in.
No, it's not bad. It's abysmal. It's probably the best word for it.
Right. Now, did you realize it was abysmal the first time you watched it, or the second time?
No, because I'm not bright.
So Mick, I just looked up some trivia. Seeing as how you are the Suits expert, go ahead. Where was the show shot?
I think it was in L.A. or Vancouver.
Not bad. Toronto, but pretty good.
Was it Toronto?
Because it was set. It's supposed to be set in New York, so not bad.
It was. I knew it was set in New York, but
I always wonder when you have a show. I mean, I get it. Like when it's a movie, you have like a certain week, a number of weeks shoot. But when you have a TV show that's going on for several seasons, these actors have to live in the town, right? Mm-hmm. That they're, because you can't just go there for exteriors and back to LA. So they just go take up residence in Toronto for 3-4 months out of the year. Is that the deal?
Cool. That's the deal.
Yeah.
When they're getting paid as much as they're getting paid. Yeah.
And there are companies that work with the studios that find housing for folks.
So they added a character not a character. They added an actor I really like, Dooley Hill, later in the series. Kind of shoehorned him in, but he was like on one of my favorite shows of all time, which was Psych.
Oh yeah.
Well, why didn't you review that show? You like that show.
Yeah,
well,
Kevin.
if ever has me back on, that will be nice.
Kevin Van Camp says she's not a believable character. Kevin,
See?
you have to send me an email because I got a Facebook thing from you, but I thought we were already Facebook friends, and you.
I'm telling you.
wanted to make sure you didn't get hacked. Toronto for New York. Usually it's Toronto for Detroit.
That's true.
Wait a minute.
That's true. Yeah, they always do. They do the exterior shots of something in Detroit, and then they move to the real studio.
Okay, so guys, real quick on Suits, and this is from Michael McGee 969-357-319. Suits is a compelling legal drama set in the heart of New York and one of the city's most successful law firms. The story is centered around the firm's best lawyer. The show offers plenty of variety besides the law by developing the relationships of many characters inside the firm. Besides the two leading characters, Suits is a balanced excellently with an ensemble cast filled with intriguing relationships. I don't know who to believe. This random person on IMDb or the person I invited on the show.
The Duke of York.
Here's the funny thing about the law in the show. Like, it all seems really sounds like they're doing their research and putting it in, and they actually, like, they do a good job showing, like, how much work goes into a case and, like, what you have to learn. Not in a great way, because he's, like, has a photographic memory, so he just reads something once and he knows everything. But, you know, like, the rest of the characters have to show how hard that is. So they'll get to court. They'll throw out some legal jargon that seems like it's sound, and you know, everything looks good. And then something will happen in, like, the next scene, and then, like, whereas the judge is like, yes, that's completely sound, you know, logic. And then the very next scene, it's like, yeah, but I don't like you, so you're out of here. It's like,
right,
it's completely out of character, everything they do in the show.
Well, Casey vows to never waste time on the show, appreciate the thoroughness, and he's apparently convinced not to watch
Convinced to not watch it. There you go.
Convinced not to watch it.
My first convincing.
I will tell you, it has been made into there's a Korean version of the show that I will be watching because I have to be a Suits expert, first and foremost.
Well, maybe you should do a Suits podcast.
So wait, I have a Meghan Markle question that the group might know. So has she, you know, given now her status, does she regret her involvement in Suits?
No.
That's why Harry fell in love with her.
Is it really?
I don't know. Well, there. Because let's talk about something more important, which is we really tapped into an expert here. Sasha here says Leprechaun 1 through 4, Leprechaun in the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, Leprechaun Origins, and Leprechaun Returns. I think Leprechaun Origins and Returns. What are you doing, Bob?
Is that all cock?
They are all
Duncan
remakes.
Alcock.
Jesus.
Duncan Alcock, right there.
No, that's not gonna.
Sasha is a leprechaunologist.
They are all remakes since none share continuity. Just Warwick Davis. Origins is kind of a remake, kind of. Returns is a true sequel to the first film, but it doesn't have Warwick. And I'm okay. Yeah, it's true. He's the same and everything, but they always change, like, you know, like in the first one, all it took was like a little 4-leaf clover on his thing to keep him, and then that fall. And they just keep changing the mythology from thing to thing. So it's always different, but it's really great. It's really great. I got obsessed with it once, and then I DVR'd them all, and then you wait, and then it was all on my DVR, so I could watch it. The one in space is great. I mean, every good series, James Bond, every James Bond, other series, if they have a space one, you know it's good. You know it's good.
I will say, if you need to know anything about horror movies, just ask Sasha. She knows everything. Like, if I need some kind of tidbit, she just, like, off the cuff, like, yeah.
Sasha, can I just ask you a quick question? Howard's not on the show, but I'm sure he's watching. Will you confirm for me that Drag Me to Hell was a fine example of horror cinema?
Wasn't that a remake? Are you talking about the Sam Raimi remake?
The Sam Raimi show, yeah, the Sam Raimi movie.
New Leprechaun.
Yeah, that's like the last 10 years, isn't it? That movie?
Every time Drag Me to Hell comes up, Howard makes fun of me because it's my favorite horror movie. And
you know who's going to drag you to hell? Sorry. You know, David Uwasa, that's who's going to drag you to hell. This guy right here.
Duncan Alcock.
Duncan Alcock.
That's
No, this is David Uossi. He's the gigantic asshole in the
Oh.
film.
okay.
Oh,
All right.
that's that guy.
Well,
The
hey,
Untitled Dudes.
since we have we have a little bit of time left. We could go into one more show, or we could catch everyone up on WandaVision. No. I do. There is a show I want to talk about that I watched. So next week, Zach is going to come from the Some Nobodies podcast, and he's going to do a little thing where we talk about the Netflix top 10 and those ratings and the hot things happening right now. We're not going to go into every single show, but more just opinions of why they might be trending or not. I did watch, and again, I'm not going to get into it, but I did watch the Cecil Hotel with Elisa Lamb thing. It was like a 4-episode thing. We got to talk about that in a future episode. But I do want to talk about, I did get sucked into this, which was called The Sinner, because it was like in the top 10 in the US. And I was like, oh, I like Bill Pullman. Bill Pullman's in it, and I like. I thought I just assumed I would like Jessica Biel. I'm not sure. And but The Sinner, it's 3 seasons, so I'm only talking about the first season right now. I've only watched the first season. Real quick, Drag Me to Hell was awesome. So if Sasha is the Howard's got a slap coming from Sasha. So the what was I going to say? The Sinners, the Sinner is 3 seasons, and each season is its own thing, kind of like American Horror Story does their thing, where each one is not related necessarily to the other ones. They do carry the Bill Pullman character through. He's Harry Ambrose. He's a detective or something, cop, and so he's kind of the thread. So we start watching it. Sometimes you watch these shows you've never heard of. This was originally on the USA Network, and now it's on Netflix. And so maybe the 3rd season just came out. Maybe that's why it was trending out of nowhere. But so we were looking for something to watch, and it was trending. I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. You give it an episode or 2, right? Like we started watching Firefly Lane, and like I bailed on it. My wife's still watching it with I don't even know who's that, Heigl or whatever. Anyway, so The Sinner is it's Jessica Biel and her husband, I believe, let's see, that's Christopher Abbott. And so they're just a whatever family, just kind of this normal family. And they have a kid, and, they work at the place with the dad. And it was kind of like the little relationship issues, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whatever. And so then you kind of see she's maybe a little depressed. She goes swimming, and maybe she's trying to kill herself. We don't know. She seems a little off. Okay. So next thing you know, when they're sitting at the on the beach, they're sitting on the beach, and she's cutting a pear. So she's got like a knife, and she's cutting a pear, and she's feeding it to her son. Just cutting off pieces and eating it and feeding it to her son. The next thing you know, there's this younger couples, or it seems younger couples, in front of them, and 2 of them, they're kind of making out, or he's making moves on her and stuff like that. And the next thing you know, Jessica Biel takes this knife, walks over to the guy, and when I tell you, murders him in cold blood in such a there's so much blood in this thing. He's like pounds it like 7 times. Like she's a boom, boom, vicious in the neck, in the heart. It was insane. But so at this point, what you're watching is a show where you're thoroughly convinced you're just watching this woman just have a psychotic break, because there was literally no reason any of this just happened, right? And so, when I tell you like a pool of blood, it's worth it just to see this guy get killed. It was insane. So it really was. And so anyway, so basically you're sitting there going, what's this show even about? She just freaking killed him out of nowhere. It's like it was just some random person in this beach. Anyway, so Bill Pullman, so they start pulling threads. I don't want to kind of give anything away because I think you got to watch it, but it's one of those things where it just all these little threads start getting pulled, and the story starts unraveling. And it's like, I think it's only like 8 episodes, maybe 10 episodes, and it's great. It was really compelling. Thank you, Jerry. It was really kind of compelling. It was, I don't know anything about season 2 or 3 yet because we haven't watched it. Bill Pullman was great. Jessica Biel was great. It's kind of like it's USA must be like like the AMC network. They're a little bit racier. It's like, it's not like a NBC type show where it's a little pulled back. But there was a lot of simulated sex. That was
Ooh.
like,
Wow.
it was intense. Like,
I mean,
by the time it ends, it's like it's a beautifully tragic end. Let's just, it ends well, but not like with a bow. You know what I mean? And or maybe you don't. But watch it, you'll know. But yeah, I recommend checking it out. I'm interested to see season 2 and season 3 only because the Bill Pullman character kind of pulls the thread. He's kind of like I don't know if he's like Columbo, but he's the one that doesn't give up. He believes, he sees things, he looks for those clues, he thinks things. If he has a gut and an intuition that something's connected, he follows up on it, and he goes in and he digs in. And so it was just a surprise. It was nothing I'd never even heard of the show before. Jessica Biel produced it. So this season 1 is based on a book. So, and then I guess 2 and 3 are probably just, based on characters.
And so this is on USA, Jeff, is that what you said?
I think it was originally on USA. It's now I watched it on Netflix. Season 1, 2, and 3 is on Netflix. And so it's season 1, I'm guessing they probably opted the book because it was a great book. And then they turned that book into season 1. And
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
CRP has a message, it looks like.
Bill Pullman, it sold me on the Rage Murder. It is totally right.
Yeah.
It's really good. It really is. And it's like it's one of those things I can't talk about it too much because I don't want to give anything away because I don't want to ruin the enjoyment of it.
So Jeff, do we have like 30 seconds for me to do an update of a review?
Yeah, go ahead.
A couple weeks ago, I talked about Servant, which is available on Apple TV Plus, and I was actually really excited about the first season of it. I thought M. Night Shyamalan, is that how you say his name? M. Night Shyamalan. I thought he really did a great job. I thought it was a great story. It was well told. I thought the acting was terrific. I thought the guy who played Ron Weasley, whatever his name is, I don't have his name in front of me. Ron Weasley was excellent, even as a drug addicted bastard. But then I started binging season 2, and I'm sorry to tell you, like Shyamalan couldn't hold it together. The season 2 is like gone completely off the rails. It doesn't make any sense. The acting somehow got worse. Like the script got really bad. And I have to say, I'm ready to tap out a couple shows into this, which is really disappointing because I was really excited about the show a season ago.
I'm not surprised. May I offer another opinion on Shyamalan and his ability to hold a thread?
Yeah, tell me.
It's a very good point, Ron. Okay, one of my favorite movies of all time, Unbreakable. Love that movie. 20 years old now, and the lore that came, that was built up around that, and then he did the surprise non-sequel sequel, which was, and I can't remember the name of it now. Split.
Yeah,
right. That's right.
And it was at the very end scene. You're like, why am I hearing the music from Unbreakable here? Oh my God, it's Bruce Willis. Oh my God, it's in the same universe. Then, and it teased Glass, the third movie in this trilogy. And I waited, and my stepdaughter and I waited. We just couldn't wait to see this thing. And we saw it, and we're like, what kind of piece of shit is this thing? It's the worst. It's the absolute worst coda to, a trilogy ever. It's just such a mess. And I just could not hide my disappointment. In
he just
theater.
can't hold it together.
Well, it's Split was great.
Split was great, but Glass
is great.
Glass, you can't hold it. So this is like Wize was talking about. I think it was Wize. You were talking about Stephen King with your show. That there was an episode related to Stephen King. Stephen King is famous for this. He writes great stories and then can't hold it together, and the endings always suck. Right, like it. It's the greatest story ever with the dumbest ending of all time. This is exactly what we're talking about. Shyamalan can't hold this together. He tells great stories, and then at the end, he can't bring it all together.
I don't mean to kind of throw a little wrench in this, but is it really M. Night Shyamalan's issue, or was it Bob?
Damn it, it was me. I can't believe it. I'm so sorry.
Well played, my friend. That was awesome. That's well played.
Oh, you bastard.
So, all right. Well, this is a fun episode. Thanks everyone for sticking by with us, sticking in with. Wait. Oh, Jerry says, "Great show." Boom. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Wait. Did Oh yeah. Cool. Yeah. Sasha says, "Raymond is great." I'm just seeing if there's Two Leprechaun, Two Furious. Okay.
Jerry says we had him at Alcock.
You guys had
Two Leprechaun.
Yeah.
I think this was a great. M. Night Shyamalan pulled the Shyamalan.
He
That's
followed
a good one.
Shyamalan. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. All right, everyone, say Wize. Say goodbye. Say goodnight.
Goodbye.
Replug yourself.
Good night, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us.
You can find me on Apple, Spotify,
Pandora now.
TuneIn, iTunes. It's Stuck in My Mind podcast, and
And now
Real
Pandora.
Wise TV on YouTube.
Awesome. Mick Manhattan.
Yeah, you can catch me on the Scene Snobs podcast 9:30s every Tuesday night, or BTB right before this show at 7:30 p.m. All Eastern. Just go to thescenesnobs.com. That's where all our great shows are, including this one, and we're very fortunate to have them.
Mick, it's great to have you on the show. It's great to hang with you, brother.
It's been fun.
Hopefully, I will be invited back, and then I can rave about a TV show.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
Nice.
Bob, say goodnight.
All right, come out next weekend. See me at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase. I'm headlining there and cutting a new CD.
Nice.
5th and 6th.
Awesome. Great show. Richard Kish says, "Great show, guys." Ron, say goodnight.
I'll be out next week at the Ann Arbor Comedy Showcase watching Bob do his show. So,
all right.
Great spending time with you guys. Enjoyed it very much.
All right. The Ann Arbor Showcase hasn't returned my text since 2017, so I'll be at home. You can catch me on Live from Detroit, the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Bob and our friend Sal is not here on the Sal and Bob Show podcast. You can download those on Apple, Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, blah, 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 blah. Thank you all for coming once again. Hope you enjoyed this episode of Crossing the Streams, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday, 9:30 Eastern Time.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Crossing the Streams, brought to you by scenesnobs.com and part of the Jeff Dwoskin Show. Your hosts, of course, Jeff Dwoskin, Sal D'Amelio, Bob Phillips, Ron Lippett, and Howard Rosner. Follow us all on the socials, and we'll see you next week and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. We're going live and crossing more streams.